Theater. My wife and I are trying to take advantage of things that we're going to be able to do now that are going to be really hard to do once we have our first child. So theater, opera, that makes a lot of sense. We went to, I think, the first opera we've ever seen together. It was only 3 nights over at the Metropolitan Opera at Lincoln Center. Again, place my office does a bunch of business with. And they did the Rake's Progress, which is a opera by Stravinsky. I think it was written in like the early 1900s. Very standard plot line about the devil. I love anything with the devil. It's exciting. It's a great little analogy for temptation and you know what happens when you think you want something and then you get it and all sorts of horrible things happen. So very standard plot line. Poor guy saying all sorts of subtext. I wish I had money. I wish I was happy. And you know, getting money and then for a while getting happiness. He was engaged to someone, gets rid of her, marries a bearded lady because that's fun. The devil's kind of tempting him a little time, convinces him to make a bunch of investments in an insane invention he comes up with, which is a machine that will turn stone into bread. All that didn't need to be in quotes, not sure why I did that. Loses all of his money and then ends up in an asylum at the end after he manages to beat the devil in a game where the devil is going to try to take his soul. Anyway, not that complex of a plot line, but the singing was fantastic. The main guy, interestingly enough, was probably Liz and I's least favorite. He was still totally competent, but come on, this is the Metropolitan Opera. The guy playing the devil was our favorite. Mwah, so good. The woman playing the bearded lady, also fantastic. Our seats were really nice, and of course, since I'm doing this for a living all the time, I'm constantly looking at how, you know, the view changes when you lean forward and go side to side. We had the distinct advantage of there not being a ton of people around us, and we could have moved over if we wanted to. We actually stayed in our seats, but there was really no one on our left, no one on our right, and we bought seats in such a way where, you know, if we were actually over one seat, they would have been much more expensive. But we were on the second balcony, I think, kind of in the middle, and anyway, yeah, I thought it was great. You know, the acting didn't seem to lend itself too much to minuscule facial expressions and that kind of stuff, although it did take my wife and I a while to realize the bearded lady was bearded. But again, as someone that does not see the opera that much, I'm going to be seeing a lot more of it this week because I'm going to the Opera America conference, primarily to show off my VR stuff like I did last year. That should be fun. That's going to be in DC this year. But back to this, opera, costuming was super bland. We think that's because there's a big push to modernize a bunch of operas, and for some reason that means make them less colorful and make everything more just kind of, you know, and everything fades into the background. And we ran into this with the Nutcracker a little bit too, where it's a problem if you aren't able to pick out who the main characters are when there's a big ensemble on stage, and color, I think, can help with that a lot. So these costumes were very simple. I like the set design a lot. It actually reminded me a little bit of the first time I started playing in Google SketchUp, the 3D modeling program, and there was a real playfulness and a heightened reality to everything. The scale was really large for everything, which I don't know if this was the intention, but it really made the main character feel very small and insignificant compared to everything around him, and so I thought that was very effective. And again, I thought the performances were great. There's only 2 more performances of this. I kind of like this limited run thing. Yeah, just 3 performances for the Rake's Progress. We saw opening night. Always fantastic to see a show on opening night. You can feel the energy from the actors, or the singers in this case, also actors, when you just know how excited they are to finally be performing and showing you what they've been working on all this time. So Rake's Progress, enjoyed it. Nothing mind-blowing, but a lot of fun. I give it 3 stars with a confidence of 4.